guys, I'm back with both of the body parts. I hope you counted better than I did, because if you follow me on Instagram, you saw how I had to cut it off in kind of like the middle, because I crocheted way too long, because I kind of like did this part 2 times. So I hope you were better at counting than I was. And now we are going to connect the front and the back part like this, and we're going to connect it on top, like right here on the shoulders, and at the sides, like right here. And then we are going to create our turtleneck part and our waist part. That's the plan. I would say let's start with connecting. I'm excited. Now we're going to take our 2 pieces and we're going to lay them facing the same direction of your order of the rows. So make sure that they are the same and that you're not kind of like going like this and then in the end the rows don't match. So go for this, and here is going to be your neckline, and down there is going to be your waist. So make sure that you're happy with this being your top and this being your back part. You can of course also change it like this and make your neckline here. But for me, I'm gonna put this as my top part, and now I am going to clip the ends together. So right here, I'm gonna take a clip, and right there, like this. And now I am going to try it on and see how tight I want my neckline to be. So I'm gonna take 2 more clips with me. I'm gonna try this on and then measure how big I want my neck part to be. Okay, my loves, so let's try it on like this. Just put it over your head, and this is what it should look like. And now you're gonna have a look at this top part, because for me, I want to keep my neckline kind of like open, so I don't want to have it very closed, if you know what I mean, like very tight around my neck. I want it to be a bit loose. So I'm just gonna clip it like together, like right here, like this. And on the other side, right here maybe. Now, this is what my neck would look like if I close it from here till there, from here till there. So just make sure that you're happy with the neckline and that it's not too tight around your neck. And also leave the clips on and now try to take it off, like over your head. For me, it's perfectly fine working, but if you can't get it off your head, make sure to leave a bit more space right here where your neckline is going to be. And if that worked with putting it on and off, you're now going to take some more clips and you're going to have a look at how much space you need for your arm. Because for me, I want it to be a bit more like wide than my actual arm is, so that I could also wear a bigger sweater underneath, I think. So I'm not gonna crochet too tight, because if I have it like right here, like right under my armpit, it's going to be a bit, I don't know, not loose enough for me, because I potentially want to layer it. So I'm gonna maybe clip it together here, because I think that would be good. Wait a sec. So maybe right here would be fine, I think. Like this is good, I think. Also, don't worry, because if you're not sure we're gonna start crocheting the piece together from the end to the top. So you can also try it on in between and you can have a look if it's maybe a bit too tight, and you can open it up a bit or close it a bit more. So don't worry, you can also just try it on a few times in between. But this, I feel like, is how I'm gonna do it. So let's start connecting everything, like right here on the shoulder part, on the side part, and then we're gonna get to the turtleneck and waist part. Let's start with connecting our side part first. So we should all have a little clip where we want to stop and where our arm is going, and here is where our shoulder is. So for now we're going to start connecting these two pieces on the side till here. Then we're only going to do double crochets around right here, or single crochets, however you want to do it. And then we're again on top right here going to connect this shoulder part. This is what we're going to do in one kind of like row of crochets, and then we have to start again to do our last, like our back part right here with some double crochets or however you like. So for now we're going to start connecting these two parts. This is the side part, and here is where in the end our little ribbing is going to go. So take your yarn you want to connect the pieces with. I'm going to use this light beige tone, and we're going to start with a slip knot like this. Pull it tight. And now let me zoom in. I'm again going to link a tutorial down below where the connecting stitch is a bit better explained. You can also sew it together if you like that. But for me, I'm just gonna use a little crochet stitch that I linked a special tutorial down below. And basically you're just gonna always slip through the loops that you want to connect. We're gonna start with a little slip stitch there, and then you're always going to go into the rows like right here, and you're going to take one loop, and then this one is the one on the other side. You're going to slip through the yarn and pull it through. For the next row it's like this one. I'm gonna slip it through right there, slip through the other side. Oops, that's wrong. On this side, on the other side, slip the yarn through. And that's what we're gonna do for the rest. And if, like right here, there are double crochets, you wanna do not only one of these connecting slip stitches, but you wanna do two. For example, like right here one. Actually, it doesn't matter where exactly you place the slip stitches. It's just important that it's always matching the length of the rows, so that if there's, for example, a double crochet, you want to do two connecting stitches. If there's, like right here, triple crochets, you want to do 3 in this row. So make sure that you have a look on that and keep it on the looser side, and then it shall work out. So do that. It's gonna look like this. And just continue with this until you arrive at this part where you're marked, where your sleeve kind of like starts, your arm part. We're gonna meet back there. I just finished my last connecting stitch, and now I am where my arm is gonna go through. So this is where we're gonna not crochet together, like this part. But what I want to do is I want to go for half double crochets around this part, so that we have a clean edge and that it's not just the rows randomly ending. You're going to see the difference when I show you. So now I want to chain up 2 and start with my half double crochets. You can also do double crochets or more rows if you want it to be a bit more, for example, like this, a bit wider. But for me, it's just fine that like keeping the edge very small. So I'm gonna go for half double crochets, and I'm just gonna go in each of the spaces. For example, here I'm gonna go for 3 half double crochets because this is a triple crochet. So 1, 2, 3 into this space. Then here is a single crochet, so I'm gonna go right here, and here's another one, so I'm gonna set one right here. Then these are double crochets, so I'm gonna go for 2 into this, and I'm just gonna continue like this until I am at this top part, like right here. So continue with this, and then we're gonna meet again. I'm about to do my last stitch, but I'm not going to go for a half double crochet. I'm just going to do a single crochet like this, because now we're going to start with the connecting part again. I'm going to keep it simple and connect same as I did down there. So just make sure that you line the stitches up correctly. Look, what a mess. And that you go right here, right there, and then right here. And then just slip it through, slip through, slip through, and just continue with this until you are at this point where you want to start with your neck ribbing. I'm now gonna do my last stitch, so I'm gonna set this right here. This, I'll take both loops and slip the yarn through, slip it through again. And this is what it should look like. And here is where your neckline ribbing is gonna go in the end. So keep that. And now you can cut off your excess yarn like that, slip it through, and pull it very tight, like this. And we finished our first connecting row part. And now I want to do this side, and I'm gonna start again with half double crochets, just like I did here. Just gonna repeat it right there. So I'm going to start again with a slip stitch, and I'm going to start right here again by slipping the yarn through, chaining up 1, and now I'm going to start with my half double crochets into these, and just do it the exact same like you did on this side, and we're going to connect up there, but I'm going to show you again later. So just continue with your half double crochets like you did on the other side. Make sure to count right. So if here we did a triple crochet in this row, make sure to do 3 half double crochets like that. I just did my last half double crochet, and now I'm gonna connect my loop that I have on my hook right now with this last one that we did right here. With a slip stitch, so slip it through here. Now chain up 1 and cut off your excess yarn like this, slip it through, pull it tight, and it kind of should look like a straight line. These 2 leftover yarn pieces you can sew in if you like. I'm just gonna slip it through right here. This. And then we have our finished connecting part on one side. You can now repeat this exact same thing on the other side of your top. I'm gonna do this too. Then we're gonna start with our ribbing. I'm gonna show you how to do this neck part, and then last step is going to be to connect this too. It's gonna be the exact same to connect like we did, oops, wrong side, on this side. We're gonna use the same stitch, or you can use your own stitch you prefer. But that's going to be our last steps, and then we're finished. So connect the other side, and then we're gonna meet again. Now that we finished the second side of our sweater and both sides are connected, we're now gonna go to the last step, or almost last step. We're now gonna create our neck, turtleneck part and our waist part with this ribbing. And I'm gonna show you how to do it first, and then we're gonna come back to the connecting part. Let's continue with the ribbing for the top, like the neck part, and the waist. So this, for example, is the one I did for my waist. But honestly, I just finished this one. It's like this violet blue. And honestly, I'm not sure if I like it. Like from the color, not from the design, but just from the color. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it. So I'm thinking about maybe doing it again in this beige color. Because I feel like none of the other colors I would like that much. So maybe I'm gonna do it again in this color. I'm not sure. Yeah, well, but at least let me show you how to do it. And you can decide on your own which color you want to do. I feel like maybe I'm gonna go for this one in the end. But I'm gonna show you with this blue color because it's easier to see. So you're gonna need your yarn, and this, for example, is, I'm gonna explain later how to do it, but this is a row of 9 single crochets, and this, for example, is 8. So it's one smaller, and you can decide on your own how big you want the waist part to be, like the ribbing part. If you want to do a turtleneck with like a neck that you can flip when you're wearing it, you can do it longer. Or if you only want like a small neck part, you can also do it way shorter. So like maybe 4 single crochets. So it will be like this from the size as a neckline. You can decide on your own. I'm still not sure how I want to do it. But for now, I'm going to show you an example for something in between what I really would like to be my waist part. So just like this. This I feel like is perfect for the waist because the waistband is also going to be a bit covered because it's going to scrunch up a bit, and the front and back part, like this one we did, is going to kind of like fall over it a bit. Not sure if that makes sense, but I feel like this with the 9 to 10 single crochets is perfect for the waistband. For a neckline, you can choose on your own what you like most. And we're going to start off with a slip knot, as always. So let's do a slip knot. And now I'm going to chain up 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And for the following stitches, we're always going to do slip stitches. So no single crochets or double crochets, everything is going to be a slip stitch. And we're going to start off with this row where we did the chain ups, and if you have a look on it, like here you can see your chains, like these are the top 2 loops always. Like these 2, for example, are front and back loop of 1 slip stitch. You can have a look on it, and if you have it like this laid on top of your hand, you can see the front loop and the back loop of 1 chain up, and it's the same like this in the following rows. So for now, we're gonna go through the front and the back loop with our first row of slip stitches. And in the other rows, it's gonna be a bit different, but for this one, always take both, like the front and the back loop, and go through this with your first slip stitch. So for now, we're not gonna go through this one because this is where our like last little loop is, but we're gonna go through this one. And as I told you, we're gonna go through the front loop and the back loop, and you're gonna do a slip stitch, so slip right through here and there. And always keep it on the looser side because you always tend to go a bit too tight when you do slip stitches, and you're gonna thank yourself later if you're gonna go a bit looser. So now again, you sometimes have to turn it a bit. Like if you look like this, I'm like, where's my front and back loop? But if you turn it a bit, you can see here the front and the back loop. So now go through the front and back loop of your next stitch with your slip stitch like this, and then like this, and loose it up a bit. And you're gonna go through the next one, like right here, this, and slip it through, just like this. And you're gonna do that till you are at the end, so keep in mind to also take this last one with you. So if you did your last slip stitch, you can now chain up one. We're always gonna chain up one at the end of each row. And then you can turn around your project. And now it's important for you to look right where your front and back loop are, because if you take it like this, it's gonna look like here are your front and back loops, but you have to twist it a bit, because actually on this side is where your front and back loops are. So what you can do to find the real front and back loops, like because they kind of look the same, always have a look at your last slip stitch you did, because as you can see, your last slip stitch right here goes through these front and back loops, and where they are is where your next front and back loops are, where you have to work through with your next slip stitches. But now we're not going to go through the front and the back loop, we're just going to go through the back loop, because this is how we reach this type of pattern, like this stretchy kind of thing, because these kind of like braids is the front loop that we're going to leave out for our slip stitches. So take your little project, see where your last slip stitch is, find your next front loop, and this is what you're gonna leave out. So our next slip stitches are just gonna go through these back loops, which is this. I hope you know what I mean, and keep in mind to leave out this first one where our last slip stitch loop, like this one, is going through. So this is going through these front and back loops right here. So we're gonna start right there. And we're gonna finish all to the end. Make sure to count, because this last one is gonna be a bit difficult to find, but we have to go through this very last one, this one. So make sure to count. It should be, if you do it like me, it should be 9 slip stitches in the end. So take your yarn like this. And now we're gonna go slip stitch through not this one, but this back loop. Just like this, make sure to keep it loose. Then this is the next one, like this, slip it through. Then this one, it's a bit tricky to see sometimes, like this, and so on. This one, then this one, and you can just slip through them very loosely so that nothing is too tight for the next row. So continue with this until you reach this very last stitch. It's this one for me. And if you did that, you can chain up 1, turn your project around, and now it's the exact same. So now again, you're gonna work into the back loops. Make sure to have not this side facing you, but these, where also your last slip stitch is going through. So this is where your real back loop is, what you're going to work through. So go through this one, whoops, just like this. And then this one, and then this one, and this one. And that's how you're going to continue working. So always, if you're at the end of a row, always make sure to chain up 1. And what I'm going to show you is, now this might look to you as if you have your last, like, can you see? This looks a bit like, okay, I have my last back loop, like my best chain, but if you count it, you'll realize you're only at 8 from 9. So this last, very last slip stitch is a bit hidden right there, but make sure to also get that and then chain up 1, because that's how you're going to get a straight line in the end. And if you don't find this very last stitch, it's going to be like, it's going to get smaller and smaller with each row. So make sure to get that last one. So this is how you get this little stretchy piece of fabric that you can use also perfectly on, for example, sweaters down at the wrists. So it's tight and then it's a bit puffy maybe. So this is actually perfect for it. And yeah, that's how you get this one. It's so funny because I was like, how should it work? Because like this type of yarn is like, it's 100% cotton. It's not flexible at all. And then you can crochet something so flexible with it. So crazy. So yeah, that's how you do the little ribbing part. And now you can choose on your own how long you want it to be. Make sure that it fits perfectly around your waist or wherever your waistband should sit, and that it's not too tight that you can't breathe. Make it comfortable for yourself. And for the ribbing on the neck, you can choose also on your own how wide you want it to be, like how long, if you want it to be a kind of like a turtleneck maybe with a little foldable neckline, or if you only want it to be short, you can decide on your own. I'm gonna choose a middle part thing, I think, but yeah, I'm gonna try some things out and then I'm gonna show you what I came up with. But yeah, this is how I'm gonna do it. Probably gonna switch to beige. Even if this took me 200 rows, no problem at all. I'm gonna start from the beginning. Yeah, well, never mind. So I'm gonna do that and then we're gonna meet for the attaching kind of part at the sweater vest. You guys, here's my finished waistband, and now we have to connect it like right here. For the connecting stitch, I'm gonna link another tutorial down below because I'm not very good at explaining it. And you're gonna need it also for the top to connect it at the neckline. Like when here we are doing the neck, turtleneck part, here we have to connect like at the shoulders and at the side parts of the top. And that's what I'm going to use this connecting stitch for. So I'm going to link the more detailed tutorial down below. And what you're going to do is you're going to lay this down like this. And you're going to leave this one on the hook. Take one loop from right here. Slip the yarn through, just like this. And then we're going to start always taking one from this side, then one from this side, then the yarn and slip it through. One from this side, one from this side, slip through. And you're gonna continue till the end, and then we're gonna secure it with a slip stitch. So now I'm doing my last slip through. It should look like this. And you can use it at the side of your, or like if it's your neck part, you can use this because it's a bit different. You can use this at the back of your neck or at the side of your waist. And now you can just chain up one, and I'm gonna do an extra one. Then you can cut off your yarn. For now, I'm gonna leave some extra space because I'm not sure if I maybe wanna add 1 or 2 other rows, and I'm gonna leave it a bit loose like this before really slipping it through and pulling everything tight, because now we're gonna try it on our waist and neck, and we're gonna see if it's long enough or if we need to add some rows so that it fits over your head, over your shoulders, and then around your waist, because that's how you're gonna try on your top in the end. So that's very important. So go do that. Okay, you guys, mine fits perfectly. Woohoo! I hope yours too. So this is going to be my waist part. Make sure to not try it on from your legs upwards, but from your head or shoulders, because your top in the end you're gonna obviously not go through it with your legs. So make sure that this fits, and then make your second one for your, it's going to be a bit smaller, and this is for your neck part. So this is what my neckline looks like. I don't like it when necklines are like very tight because I feel like it's sometimes a bit too itchy for me. So I did it a bit looser so that I have space around my neck because I like that more. You can do it however you prefer it. I also love the look of like a bit tighter one. Also, I like the turtlenecks where it's like very long and it's like flipped around. But I decided to go for this first. And now we're coming to the attaching part. Let me show you. So now that we all finished our neck and waist part, we're gonna start by connecting the neckline, and we're gonna keep it very simple and gonna use the same technique as we did before. So grab your color. I'm gonna use this tiny bit lighter beige, same one I used at these stitches at the side parts, and we're gonna again start with a slip knot. So now what you want to do is you want to find your beginning and ending, or like more like the connecting part we did on the neckline, and this is going to be at the back of your neck. So make sure that you lay it in front of you with this connecting part being in the middle of your sweater, and this is also where you're going to start connecting. Take your yarn and your slip knot, and we're going to connect same stitch we did before. So I'm going to start right here, and I just counted stitches, and this is my middle stitch. And now we always want to connect one of these loops with one of these loops, and make sure that in the end, like this is the middle part, and if you lay it down like that, this should line up with this loop in the end. So if you realize in the middle part, oh, I think it's a bit too many loops on this side, make sure to kind of like go into each of these maybe twice or some more. I hope you know what I mean, so that in the end it works out. It doesn't have to be perfect. So if here you have 2 left and here 3, just go in 1, one by one and then skip one maybe and then go again, or maybe go in one of the loops twice with one of these. Just kind of like make sure that it works out in the end. And just keep in mind, it doesn't have to be perfect because we didn't count these, so it might not be the same number of loops like these. So just find something in between that works for you. So take a loop from this side, one from this side. Take your slip knot, slip it through here. Chain up one. And now start with connecting always one of these loops with these. So I'm gonna go into right this one and then this one. And keep in mind, it doesn't matter where you take the loops, just make sure that it's in the first row. And I'm just gonna try if it works out for me. If I just randomly take some of these loops. Now I'm gonna have a look at it. And so you can see, like this is the middle. So kind of like this. And now I realize that these are a bit longer than this. So to kind of like even that out, I'm gonna go into the same loop that I've just been through, like this one. But I'm gonna go into the next one on this side, so that here I'm kind of getting to the same length than here. So I'm gonna go through the next one here. Same one there. And continue. Just keep an eye on the number of chains, and if you feel, just keep an eye on the number of chains, and if you feel it doesn't work out, make sure to maybe go into one of the loops on this or this side twice. However, it's going to fit in the end. Just make it work for you. It's the middle, this. Currently, I feel like it should work out like that. So now I'm very close at my shoulder part. So now I should almost be also at the half of the neckline. So I'm gonna line it up again. This is where my middle is. So line it up so that it's kind of like same length on both sides. And now I realize that I don't have many here left. So I'm gonna open it up for some, for like 3. And I'm now gonna go into this loop I've already been through on this side for the second time, but through the next hole right here. Now I'm gonna take the next loop, maybe a bit a closer one, and this one here. Then maybe this one. I'm just trying to take closer loops right here so that in the end it lines up perfectly. Maybe I'm gonna go through the same one again, like this, but through the second one right here. Slip it through. And this is now my middle, like right here. So now let's have a look if it worked out. And I feel like it's looking pretty good. This is my middle, and this is also kind of like the half of it. And this has to go here. And you have to stretch it a bit maybe, but it should work out fine. So now flip your project around, and we're going to do the same on the front. So now just make sure it works out in the end. You can also, if you like it, you can already pin it in place. Like, you know that this is your half, so this has to be here in the end. So you can kind of like pin this together already, because you know that this has to go here in the end. So I'm just gonna pin this together real quick. Maybe I'm also gonna find the middle here. I'm gonna pin one here. And then I have kind of like an orientation where I know that the chains have to line up in the end. And so you can always take maybe smaller loops here if you see that you have a bit too many chains left here. So take smaller loops here, bigger ones here, so that it kind of works in the end. I hope you understand what I mean. Just make sure that it works out and that you can connect everything. You do you. Also feel free to use other stitches, but that's just what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna meet you when I finish all the round. So I did go all around the neck part, and now I'm gonna do my last stitch. I'm just gonna go right into here, like where I left off, or more where we started. So I'm gonna go right into this loop right there, and I'm gonna pull this white yarn through, slip stitch, and then one last time into the first stitch. So into this first slip stitch you did for the connecting part, you're gonna go through. It's gonna be a bit hard, but just get your way through it. Pull again through, like take this yarn, pull it through, and then one last slip stitch right there. Now you can cut off your excess yarn like this, and you want to pull it through. You can see right here, this you want to pull through. Now you can do another chain up for some extra security. Pull it through and pull it tight. This is what it should look like. So now you have connected everything. These leftover yarns you can just sew in like these, and then you should have a perfect neckline. And this exact same thing is what we're gonna do with this right here. But this time, because as you can clearly see, your crochet body part is way longer than your little scrunchy part right there. So make sure to first kind of like connect it to some edges with your clips or these type of things, so that you have a little bit of orientation while crocheting. So connect this here, then maybe right there, then in the middle, and start crocheting then if everything's connected. And in the end, it's of course gonna, if you like, and in the end it of course should scrunch together a bit, and this is a bit scrunched up. That's normal. So just start connecting. Make sure to pull it, connect it here, maybe there, and some in between stitches, just how you feel comfortable, and then connect everything. And then we're gonna meet again. You guys, I'm currently adding my labels. I already added one right here, kind of at one side of my neckline. Loving this. Actually, this is in the front, so you can see it, and I kind of like that. Usually I do them, like I do my attacks in the back of my piece, but somehow I really like the look of it being at the front. I don't know. And here I'm gonna add my side one. I usually add this at the sleeve, but because we don't have a sleeve, I'm gonna add it right here where my shoulder or like my arm is. And here's the finished top. Oh my god, I'm so in love. And I'm really happy that I did the neck part in beige and not the dark violet.
because I feel like it's more me with the beige. But yeah, this is how mine turned out, and I can't wait to see your recreations. So if you finished your top, please send me your pictures or tag me on Instagram, and I can't wait to see. Always the most fun part. So yeah, I hope you liked, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Make sure to subscribe and leave some love if you want to see some more tutorials. And yeah, that's it. Have a wonderful day.